Hey. Welcome to the Weekend Match Spotlight, where we highlight the big and best matches of the weekend outside of the Tottenham world. Today, we are going to have a review of the Manchester derby, which ended up Manchester City 3, Manchester United 1. See you all inside.
Come on, you Spurs. Right, welcome back to Come on, you Spurs TV. We're doing a weekend match. Our spotlight this weekend is on the match between the Manchester Derby, Man City, and Manchester United. Now, I remember when Sir Alex was Man United's manager. You know, it feels like yesterday, but I remember him saying very, very clearly that not in his lifetime will Man City ever, be the top team in Manchester. Now, fast forward a few years, and they are the dominant team. They're on course for perhaps a record-breaking fourth consecutive title win in the Premier League. And it's not a given yet, but I mean, there's still plenty of twists and turns. But they're well placed. They've got a point behind Liverpool with the match in hand, I think. And you got those guys up the road. We don't mention their name on this program, but hey, yes, they are in hot pursuit as well. And then you have the other two, ourselves and Villa, who a bit distant at the moment. But like I said, like you know, in football, anything can change very, very quickly. Or just a few matches, and things can begin to take a right turn.
Now, just before we go into the actual match review, this is just a little bit of housekeeping. Welcome to Come On You Spurs TV, where we talk about all things Tottenham from the African perspective, but we also have a grander, much bigger outlook on the rest of the league and football in general. If this is your first time viewing and you like what you see, or you're returning and you haven't subscribed yet, please click on the subscribe button, notification bell to be alerted every time we bring out new content, either on Tottenham or on other clubs that take our fancy. And please comment. Let us know what you would like to see on the channel. Engage with us. Let us know what you'd like to talk about in future episodes as well. And as always, it's Come On You Spurs.
Right. Thank you so much. Welcome back. Come On You Spurs TV. So, Man United and City at home at the Etihad, and the Etihad is it's been a bit of a fortress for them, hasn't it? I mean, the only teams that come there are Tottenham, who come to win. Most other teams get a pasting when they get there. And okay, you've had probably look at the record between the City and Man United at that stadium. It's been mostly City though. I think there's 6-2 record in the last few. Over the last 8 or 10 matches. So yeah, it's been pretty much all City all the way, and this was not about to change, but it seemed to be something that was about to upset the apple cart. I mean, Rashford seemed to be ready to rewrite the story. I mean, he came in and he scored a brilliant goal as an opener, and I thought to myself, oh, is there a turn up for the books today? Or what did you think when that goal went in? It was a brilliant goal as well, wasn't it?
Oh, it was amazing. But let's set the scene. Everyone predicted that it was going to be a destructive session. It was just going to be complete annihilation by City over United, and that was the general consensus amongst everyone, social media, friends. A lot of Manchester United fans who I know and shall not be named on this show have all went into hiding up until the 7th minute when a long ball from Onana gets headed down. Bruno Fernandes gets the ball. Fernandes now taps it, and then from nowhere, Marcus Rashford with what I can only describe as, for those people who are James Bond fan, the James Bond movie with Sean Connery, Thunderball. Like it had everything. It was such a huge strike. There was no way Edison was going to get to that. If he tried to, he'd have broken his wrists. It was a huge shot, completely against the run of play. But my God, these things I think happen. But if you look at City, you have to understand that that's also how you play City. You play a long ball, hope for a knockdown, try and get behind their high line, and but this was one that was executed to perfection. It was just brilliant.
I mean, I saw glimpses of City in that match, and I thought to myself they were absolutely brilliant. They had so much possession at some point. It was like the Man United could not even touch the ball. I mean, I saw several spells of City's play, maybe go for 10 minutes, and there will be not one touch from United, and how they actually kept going, I just couldn't. It was difficult to believe because I mean, it was a total domination, and I mean, Phil Foden. Okay, I mean, I just thought he was absolutely fantastic. I mean, Mr. Alexander Hag, Alexander Gamble. I mean, you know who you are, and you've spoken about Foden for a very, very long time. I mean, Hag, for those of you who don't know him, he's a contributor on this program. He comes in now and again as a guest, and he's also on our WhatsApp group. And he's a very, very keen fan of Phil Foden. He's always named him as a future top player, and it looks as his prediction is coming true, hasn't it? I mean,
It's first we go back to the domination, where it was actually Manchester United's game plan, and to be honest with you, they stuck to it quite well. We're not going to have the ball, but we're not going to give you the space to penetrate our defense, and you saw that happening. Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland weren't doing their combos, or nothing was going on. It was strictly just containment, and United broke out twice more after the goal. And had it not been for, mistakes or carelessness in part, I think McTominay got one chance and someone else did. They could have possibly scored a second, like if luck had favored them. And that was their whole plan. It was a real, as we call it here, smash and grab. It was a smash and grab game where they were just waiting without the ball. And City, the question was, how long can you keep this up? And that was the key decision.
Let me interrupt this for a little bit and just sort of use this opportunity to do a big shout out to Eric Spurs Forever. Today is his birthday. If you're watching this, Spurs Forever, I wish you a happy birthday and many happy returns. Big shout out to you, Eric.
A huge shout out. He's a wonderful football debater, and very knowledgeable man in football as well. And he just drops these nice little tidbits here and there. And he's not that biased, but he has the people he doesn't like and the people he likes, and he tells you who they are. So he's always he's a man worthy of respect. But it all came down to how long could United hold out, and they did quite well. I'm not a huge fan of Raphael Varane, but I thought Varane was pretty excellent in that game. And the right back Diogo Dalot as well was really, really good, and Casemiro as well. I think they just did their jobs, which was contain. And then we had possibly the poster child for the worst miss of the season to arguably one of the most mercurial marksmen in the league. Erling Haaland had a sitter and a half that he blew over the crossbar.
Honestly, I couldn't believe that when I saw that. I thought to myself, that is something. It was a horrible howler. I mean, I thought, how did that happen? Erling Haaland from like 3 yards. Unbelievable.
Yeah. It goes to show you that it can happen to anyone and everyone.
Absolutely.
And basically, pull back from the left side, and Phil Foden once again heads it down, and you're thinking to yourself, goal. Everyone had screamed goal. And then you just saw the ball go over the crossbar. You're like, wait. Even Haaland didn't understand what had happened.
I know.
He didn't understand what happened to him. And then by the second half, I think United started pressing a bit in the second half. I think they now came out to press a bit. And then that's when things got interesting. They're coming out, opening these gaps. And no one went out to Phil Foden. And Phil Foden is, my goodness, I believe he's a number 10. But he plays right wing, he plays left wing, and he can do it all. And he was playing on the right wing at the time. He cuts into the center and just lets go. So it wasn't the same level as Rashford's, but my goodness, you felt the same kind of ripple, and it was the same top bin section of so that particular goal. it felt the wrath of two Manchester-born players, and once they did that, it was a question of once they scored, everyone knew what was going to happen next. That it was just going to be, they're going to capitulate. How many would City score? And then, and then I think something also very important was I could see it from the first half, and I'd already typed it in on the WhatsApp group or to some of my friends that Jeremy Doku wasn't suited for this particular match. He has this chaos football. He reminds me of Alan Saint-Maximin that was at Newcastle. I call it chaos wingers. They just run at you, and if it breaks their way, it breaks their way. They can dribble to a bit, but it's more chaos football, or in Nigerian terms, Maja football. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So it just didn't work. And Pep, to his credit, saw that, and Pep took him off, and Pep brought on Alvarez. I mean, look at. I mean, you just have to look at the strength of the benches to understand the levels we're talking about here.
Yeah,
Manchester City can bring on a World Cup winner
as a substitute. As a substitute, can you imagine?
And then United can only bring on a young boy I'd never heard of before, and that's not to say the young man will not grow into something, but it's just to show you the difference, And I think also why United fans I won't say they should temper their expectations, but I mean, if they're thinking of catching City, I don't know about that. You have to even think about catching, with all due respect, catching Spurs or Villa at the moment, not thinking of City. City are miles ahead of United, and that was case in point. Took off Doku, brought on Alvarez, and then moved Foden to the left side and brought Bernardo Silva to the right, and that just unlocked so many different things. And it was a 1-2 with Alvarez and Foden just bends it in, and that was it. From then on, it was just a toying men against boys session for the whole game up until someone who we wanted to buy at Spurs, Amrabat, comes on. And, I feel so much for that young man at the moment. That his career I think it was the worst decision he's made joining United. And United fans could also say it was the worst decision they made getting him over. He comes on, he hasn't really gotten that much into the game. And then he just gets the ball from Casemiro, and Rodri picks his pocket, and not even looking up, Erling Haaland just knows where the goal is.
Absolutely.
Haaland just strokes it, 3-1. The scoreline flatters United, in my opinion. It flatters them, because that could have been. They had 26 or 27 shots on goal, City.
Wow.
And it was just a question of when, not if.
Yeah. And, how many goals were they going to score today? And they scored. Might keep the scoreline respectable in the end, And it turned out to 3-1. I mean, amazing match for neutral. I mean, sad for for United fans. I mean, City fans obviously elated, and it keeps the title race very, very much alive. And a lot of neutrals are looking at it and thinking, okay, fine. It still keeps it. I mean, you don't have. I mean, those guys up the road. I mean, having of course to sort of make too much noise. I think they're going away to City next Sunday. So we'll be interesting to see what happens when they face.
Okay, yeah. So with lesser implications than the title race is the so-called battle for fourth place, which I don't think it should be something worth celebrating anymore. But it's the battle for fourth place on European Champions League qualification. United losing this game has now set them back, because Spurs have a game in hand as well, going up to Villa. But it's kind of like reduced the chances of Manchester United making it. And now Manchester looking over their shoulder as well at teams like West Ham. I think Brighton lost during the weekend, and Newcastle as well. So you're looking at a case of like United could possibly finish lower than they thought they would this season, and and miss out on top 4, top 5.
Well, some people are saying long may Ten Hag continue that. We won't talk about
I'm one of them.
We won't talk about his position, how tenable it is in this edition. But yeah, I mean, thank you for joining us. I mean, we'd love to hear from you your views on the match, on Pep's Pep's tactics, you know, on Ten Hag's approach, and whether or not you think he'll last long in that role. But we'll see. Yeah, great stuff. Thank you very much, Chuma, as always. You've been absolutely fantastic, guys. It's been great having you, and yeah, we'll look forward to next week's highlight match. I think next week's highlight match is City against those guys up the road, isn't it? So yeah, look forward to that. The weekend match reaction, weekend match spotlight, if you like. Yeah, so. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you've subscribed, like, and also, obviously, leave your comments, and we'll love to hear from you. Take good care. Bless you.
Bye, guys.
Come on, you Spurs.